I want you to know that I am so glad you could join me because I always look forward to your visit. Let me tell you, I have an itch I need to scratch. I want to go buy books in the worst way, but I'm telling myself, you know, bank your money. This is a good thing. And then right after the holidays, go wild. If you complete this, go do your thing. I am actually loving this challenge because there are so many good books that are on my shelves that I am actually being reintroduced to. Before we get into today's video, hit that subscribe button in an effort to help me grow my channel. Comment below with anything you would like to share with me, and feel free to recommend me to a friend. Hello out there. I hope you are doing well. We are doing fantastic here inside the library. We are busy rocking this Saturday night. Yes, it is Saturday night for me, and my party plans are we were dusting some shelves and getting our shelves holiday ready. And incidentally, this is a new addition to my shelf right there. That is a painting I did last Saturday, and myself not being artistically inclined, I'm a little bit proud of that one. So we are going to adorn our shelf with that this holiday season. I have quite a bit of books that I want to share with you today. Let's hope we could get into most of them, if not all of them. All right, so let's get into the books. We have so far, in no specific order, read Mommy Dearest by Christine Crawford. We have read A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia, Elliot, I believe. We have done Every Leaf a Hallelujah by Ben Okri. Those are the books that you are aware of if you have been following my channel. Now, behind the scenes, I have completed, oh my goodness, I have wanted to read this book for so long. 20 years. Can you believe it? 20 years I have been trying to complete this book. I have started it. And I mean, when I say I have started it from the beginning, and then time would pass, and then we'd go back to page one. Time would pass, back to page one. And quite often it sat on the shelf, never unnoticed, but always not completed. So I even bought this special little knickknack because I love this book so much that when I saw this knickknack, I thought, oh, that would be fun to display next to it. So I'm going to show you the knickknack, and then you tell me if you can guess what the book is. So here we go. I thought this was Jarling, and I just had to display it next to the book. So I gave you a minute there to figure out what that book was, and I'm sure that you have done that. The book that I'm talking about is none other than, yes, Herman Melville, Moby Dick. About 20 years ago, my son had asked me, Ma, what do you want for Christmas? And of course, I always want a book. So that year, I was specific. And I said, Moby Dick. And he went to Barnes & Noble's and he picked this out, and yeah, he wrapped it up, and here's what I noticed. I didn't notice it when I was reading it, but I did notice it just now from the back. This cute little piece of paper is actually the green wrapping paper that he must have used to wrap this book up in. And I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. You might think that it's silly, but it's not to me that tells a story. It tells, it brings character to the book, and I'm not going to take that piece of paper off because it's speaking volumes to me, so it stays. But anyways, I noticed this book because I wanted to read this little section on the back, and I am going to read it to you because I find it very, very interesting, and I'm not sure that every copy of Moby Dick informs us of this. So let me just say, upon its publication in 1851, Moby Dick was neither considered a masterpiece nor even very noteworthy. It was noticed by only a handful of critics and even fewer readers, selling only 3,000 copies. It wasn't until the early 1920s that this long-forgotten sea adventure was rediscovered and hailed by literary historians as the masterpiece it is known as today. So let me tell you what. When I started reading this book, I was all quag, and I was all into this book. I was like, yes, I'm here. I'm here for the ride, you know, take me on this journey. I will say, because it is quite hefty, that there are lulls in the book, but it isn't anything that I, at least, couldn't endure. I think if you try to take this book on as well, I think you will be able to do it too. As a matter of fact, I know you can. I know you can. I have faith in you. So I think we pretty much know the premise of this book. It is a journey. It is nerve-wracking at times. It's intense at times. It's exciting, thrilling, on the seat of your chair kind of a read, and I thoroughly did enjoy it. I have to ask myself, what the heck took me so long to get that done? Because it is definitely a book that I would venture to, had I not read it, want to read in the future. So yeah, I am so glad and thankful for this challenge. November is the month for being thankful, right? So we are still in November, last couple of days. I am thankful for this challenge, because without this challenge, I would not have finally completed this book. I should say that this challenge was created by Ollie over at the channel Criminally. His thing is horror. And so if that's your thing, go check him out. In the description, find his Discord page. Click it. You can join this challenge any time of the year. It doesn't have to be now. It could be any time of the year. But if you would like to do it along with us now, by all means, head on over to his channel, click that Discord link, and hook yourself up with a bunch of awesome people. All right, now I'm going to just say, I just want to mention this. I'll save it for last. That's what I'll do. I'll save it for last. All right, so the book that I am working on, that I've completed, I should say, I have completed it, is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. And it was written by Brianna Weist. And this is the book that I cannot, for the life of me, seeing anyone on the planet without. This book is packed with pertinent information and life mantras. Some of them are mantras. Let's see, advice. If you are an advice seeker, this is the book for you. I did this book Audible version, and this is what it looks like. And it is a pretty lengthy book, but that's all right, because every single thing that was said was something that I needed to hear, that I might have known but forgot about, and I needed to be reminded of. It talks about subjects such as when we lose a loved one, we need to realize that the loved one was not ours to keep forever. They were essentially on loan in our lives. And that is why it is extremely important to never take anyone or anything for granted. And that when someone passes, there are two types of people. There are victims and there are victors. So the victims are the ones who kind of wallow in that grief and they just can't get past it. And then there are victors who take that person's life and see it for the beauty and the value that it was, and then take the lessons that they have learned from that individual and then move forward into a, you know, a better and brighter future for themselves, always, you know, keeping the fond memories of their loved one, their lost loved one, you know, in their heart and close by, in their mind, in their thoughts, but actually seeing the value that that life was and everything that person has taught us and applying it to our own life as we move forward. I found that to be very interesting because I know so many people out there suffer from depression due to the loss of a loved one. Basically, what this book is a reminder of things that we may know. It is a wake-up call. It really jolts us. It really shakes us up and helps us to become aware of, you know, our negative thoughts or our woe is me mentalities that we can sometimes get stuck in. And that's pertaining to anything. Like, that's like, oh, I play the lottery and, oh, that's just my luck, I never win. We kind of get down on ourselves. We might think that we are not all that and a bag of chips. She helps us to remind us that we are, and when we dig our holes a little bit too deep and we can't seem to get out of the ditch, she's kind of lending a hand, and she's not even you know, lifting us out of that ditch. She is yanking us out with these words of wisdom. I highly recommend this book. This is the book that you will want to give everyone for birthdays, for Christmases, just because this is that book that is the perfect book for sharing. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. So there's that. Now, the book that I am working on now is The 7 Lives of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I have to say, I saw a Facebook post and there was a lady who has just begun the journey of reading this book. And you know, she asked, is anybody reading this? Has anybody read it? And so I commented that, yeah, you know what? I myself am just taking this journey. I heard a lot of good things from personal friends about this book, but it was not enough to persuade me to read it. And I thought, you know what? I have the physical hard copy. I have it downloaded in my Audible. Let's see what it's about. Now, I'm going to put this out there. Taylor Jenkins Reid is not for me. I was not a fan of Daisy Jones and the Six, and I was not a fan of Malibu Rising. Actually, Malibu Rising was mediocre for me, and Daisy Jones and the Six was a complete flop for me. Now, there are many, many, many people out there who have loved that book, and that's what's great about individuality. We all get to have our say and opinions on what we think. And that's not to criticize an author for all of their hard work, because I do totally appreciate all the hard work that she put in there. It was just a little bit too Fleetwood Macy for me, and even though I love me some Stevie Nicks back in the day, I just wasn't clicking with this book, and that's all right. But here is my December warning. Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Last year, you know, lately in December, I seem to go to the not so lighthearted, joyous reads. I always find myself, I mean, totally encompassed by a darker read. 2 years or so, maybe a little longer, I did The Iceman. That's the story of Richard Kuklinski. If you haven't read that one, oh boy, you need to get that. It looks like this, and that is one of the best books ever that I have read. And I mean, I was putting Christmas lights up and listening to this, and I'm like, after so long, I'm like, what are you doing? You know, we're supposed to be having a holly jolly. So I did force myself to turn it off and put some Christmas music on. But I'm going to tell you, once the decorating was done, that book came right back on because I needed to find out what was happening. So I did that. And then like maybe 2 years ago, I did Krampus. He wrote Slewfoot. Brom. Okay, yes. He wrote I can't say that. Slewfoot. There we go. All right. And so I read Krampus, and yeah, I didn't care for that one. I liked Slewfoot, but I didn't care for Krampus at all. Yeah, I think based on the cover, I built it up to be bigger than what it actually was. But last year, I definitely read this one, In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. And would you look at that? Me not thinking I had the book, went and bought it, and then discovered I had the book. So typical of me. But anyways, I did the free YouTube version of the book as I read along. I actually, you know, there's a lovely gentleman who is reading it for us, and he did a great job in reading it. I enjoyed him. I enjoyed his aesthetics. I enjoyed his tone of voice. So I chose him to read me the story, and then every now and then when I got a chance to sit down, I opened the book and I read along with him. And let me tell you, many is the night that my husband would be sleeping and I would be sitting downstairs in the parlor reading about this horrific tragedy that occurred. If you have not read this book, I suggest doing it. It is, you won't be let down. He does a great job in the narrative of this. He definitely did his research. Oh, the guy who reads it, each time, if I could remember, that his segments end, it's these clouds, which makes it kind of eerie. But I'm going to, I don't remember what his name was, but I'm going to find his link, his YouTube link, and I'll put it in the description if anybody out there wants to do that. But yeah, you know, silly me, I did it in the month of December, and I really have to stop doing that. If that's your thing, by all means, go ahead and do it. But I like to keep my reads lighthearted, so I think, but actions speak louder than words, I guess, right? And so I'm going to have to work on that. But anyways, I think this video is running over, so I'm going to end it right there. right there. And then my next video, I will share with you some of the fun books I have been discovering on my shelf as I was perusing them and saying, oh, thank goodness for this challenge, because now I get to read this book and this book and this book. And it is a lovely, lovely thing. So until my next video, friends, know that I love you. Be well, be good, and be reading.